So hi everybody, thank you for coming. We're happy to have Milos back at the Citi Open for the second time. And without further ado, I'm just going to ask Milos to kind of break the ice. How do you feel back here at the Citi Open?
I feel good. I feel very eager to get going with this summer hardcourt swing. I would not have thought that my best results in my career to this point would have come probably through the part of the year that's normally the toughest for me, through clay and grass. So it has me very eager. I wasn't able to play most of the hardcourt swing at the beginning of the year where I feel most comfortable, so it's got me very eager to get going here and to lead into the next two big Masters, followed by a very important slam for me.
How different is that for you? You referenced this past year that clay and grass a lot better than years past. To go into this, I imagine your favorite part of the year with this momentum. How different is that for you under your approach? Or?
Yeah, it's good. I don't think there's really any difference in the approach. I think I understand better how to win matches, how to play different situations, how to deal with different kind of moments. But I think the preparation is very similar. We spent a lot of time before I got here focusing on getting fitter and stronger for the second half of the year, and then now it's about sort of finding the game and getting through those matches at the beginning, which I know are going to be very tough. I haven't played a match in a while, so hoping I can start well. But if not, I'm prepared to deal with that.
Yeah.
You also got good 3 weeks between Wimbledon and here. What'd you do? Did you take a vacation? Did you train?
Yeah, I took a holiday. I went to see friends in New York. Then got back to training. Did a sort of a mini training camp, focusing mostly on fitness and to increase my level, and also to bring back a few things that maybe I would have lost through all those matches I was playing, and I wasn't able to focus on fitness.
Any other questions?
You referred to the U.S. Open, a very important slam, obviously kind of because of how far you went at Wimbledon. But what extra things make this one a particularly important slam for you?
It's the one where I can play much better than I did at Wimbledon. And saying that means that I can do much better than I did at Wimbledon, and that doesn't put me far away from giving myself an opportunity to win that tournament.
Yep.
You mentioned the other day in a conversation that after Wimbledon, rather than maybe exhale or take a step back and appreciate what you did, you felt some anger maybe about falling in the semifinals. I was wondering if you could expand on that. A lot of people maybe would appreciate the position you were in, but it sounds like you were saying you wanted to use it more as motivation to even get better results.
Yeah, Wimbledon was great for a lot of reasons. It gave me a lot of new highs, new experiences, highest ranking. It gave me a lot of momentum and thing, but out of all the ranking sort of climbs I've made through 3 years that have been significant to me, I would say it's probably the one that I enjoyed the least, because I felt I could have done much better in that situation, and I would have wanted to do much better. So even to this point, it's been a lot of let's say frustration, anger, and disappointment, specifically with that semifinal. And it's actually sort of been transformed into a lot of energy to do better, to work harder, and those kind of things. And it's got me very excited, because now knowing what I did there and feeling that I can do much better than I did in that situation, it makes me want to be playing that much more badly and getting into matches here and through the next tournaments as well.
Is that common to hold on to a loss like that for you, or is that?
I hate losing, so things stick with me.
What's different in your game now than in past years that you can be disappointed with in the semifinal finish?
I've improved in a lot of areas, physically, whether that be technically in shots or physically as an athlete. But I think I have more belief and understanding of what I can do, and the kind of, let's say, damage that I can make, and the way I make guys feel uncomfortable, and whether you're number one in the world or number 50, I don't think anybody enjoys playing me. So I have a lot more understanding of that and how to sort of use that to my advantage and how to be able to actually manipulate that so I can get wins out of it.
So a little bit on the hard courts, the whole North American swing is pretty hot, pretty high bounce, pretty fast. How does that suit your game?
It's the best thing for my game. The heat's going to make the courts faster, which can sometimes be slower. The higher bounce is easier for me. It sort of gives me more opportunities to hit down on shots and sort of push forward. And it's after spending 4 months of playing tennis where I'm adjusting to figure out the surface, it's a surface I come to and I don't have to worry about, okay, in this situation I got to hit the shot. I have that stuff sort of ingrained in myself naturally. It takes some time obviously to find it because I was adapting so much for a few months, but I don't really have to think about what I need to do for hard courts. All I got to think about is what I need to do to be hitting my shots well.
You mentioned, understanding your game more now. Was there a moment where all of that clicked for you? I mean,
No, I think it was putting a lot of things together, and I think it really showed that what I would count my first tournament of the year in Indian Wells, I was able to, without any matches, have a better understanding and be able to push to a quarterfinals. So I've been able to do consistently well in the most important tournaments that are mandatory in our rankings and that are mandatory for us to play. And it's tournaments like these here in Washington and the smaller ones that I want to do better because there are those holes, let's say, in my points count that I can actually make a big difference because I have been doing consistently well in the bigger tournaments. Obviously I want to do better, but I've been able to put in those important moments a strong performance up each time.
Any other questions? Yep.
What's the difference for you? I guess a year ago the big story was cracking the top 10. Now trying to get to that next step, the top 5. Is there a big difference? It's only 5 positions, but is that a big gap to go from top 10 into the top 5?
It is. There's the thing is the top 5. There's always guys moving around from 5, 6 on. It's those top 4 that I think are more the harder part to get by because those guys have sort of locked it down in previous years. Referring specifically with Andy Murray being in there, but now it's sort of changed around. But Stan's had a great year, so he's been able to sort of shut down any movement around him. So I think more so than the top 5, the bigger challenge is that top 4 positioning.
Any last questions?
Follow-up. Do you see an opening at all? I mean, I know that those positions, as you said, are really pretty firmly established, but
I think there's a big opening. I think the biggest threshold and the biggest barrier, let's say, wall to pass is the threshold that Novak and Rafa have on the 1-2 spots. I think the rest of the parts this year specifically are for grabs.